This week on Canada in the Rough, we're hunting deer in Alberta. Keith Beasley is headed to eastern Alberta to hunt giant whitetails with Take-Em Outfitters. Keith will be hunting during the magical November deer rut, and the bucks are on the move. Join us for an emotional deer hunt this week on Canada in the Rough.
Well, after 36 straight hours of driving from southern Ontario and 3 time zones, we just passed the sign into beautiful Alberta. And that means that Cold Lake is just up here about 18 kilometers, and Clay and Crystal's place, Take-Em Outfitters, and the lodge will be just south of that. So we're almost at deer camp. We've seen some stunning country on this long drive. This country has so much beautiful land in it that it's amazing, and it really is a remarkable drive, and I don't mind doing it every now and then. But that many miles and that many time zones, there's only a few things that make somebody do that, and that's big deer. And that's where we're at. We're at big deer country here in Alberta. It's the rut, it's the middle of November. This is the time Clay's picked out to get on these big moving bucks, and he's speaking my language. So we'll get into camp here in a few minutes, unload the bags, get out of tourist mode, and get into hunting mode. Yeah, we made her.
Clayton Charlton and his wife Crystal own and run Take-Em Outfitters. Their camp is located 3 hours northeast of Edmonton on the Alberta and Saskatchewan border. Take-Em Outfitters offers a truly incredible hunting experience in the land of the giants. They specialize in monster whitetail deer and have harvested a number of trophy bucks in the last decade. They also outfit for giant black bears and migratory waterfowl. Aside from the impressive hunting, their full-service lodge is superb with all the comforts of home. And with delicious meals fully prepared for you every day, the time back at camp is sure to please everyone.
Coming out from my left. Looks like she's alone. Oh, there's a buck. There's a young buck coming out from across the pasture. Looks like a 1.5-year-old buck. Gonna come right over this way.
Encounters like this can tell you a lot if you pay attention to the details. This buck is continually following the doe, which can mean the breeding season has begun. As the breeding season warms up, you will see bucks breaking away from their bachelor groups and starting their search for receptive does. The whitetail breeding season is known as the rut, and when the rut is underway, there's no better place to be than in the deer woods.
That's a buck. One antler buck. He's missing his right side. He's just out checking. Just cruising right across that field. There he goes. Just looking for does, that guy. That's the beauty of the rut right there. Just deer on the move. that side. Yeah, looks like a fawn. Looks like a buck fawn, actually. That's always a good sign. Either the mom's right behind it and could be trailing a buck, or the fawn's solo because it's been kicked off from the mom because she's getting bred right now. So that's kind of, you don't mind seeing fawns by themselves because you know something's in the area. Oh, there's another deer. Oh, it's a little buck. 2.5-year-old buck with that little fawn, and it's a buck fawn, so he's not following it. There's got to be a doe close by. Oh, there's the doe. The doe's right behind that buck, kind of over the rise. You can't see all of her. That buck just bedded down. There's another deer to the left of the bedded buck. Big buck. There's a big one. Oh my gosh. Huge deer coming up behind it. Oh yeah, that's a big deer. That's a big mature deer. I'm gonna take that deer. He just went into the timber. He kind of zigzag wobbled right at the end there. I'm gonna talk quiet because I'm really not sure. I couldn't tell where I hit him. It's too far. It's about 165 yards. Oh my goodness, that is a huge, huge buck. Big, big mature Alberta whitetail. Oh my gosh. What a deer. What a deer. I'm gonna sit here for a bit, take off some layers, and then go up and check out, see what happened. Oh, wow. Okay, Clay's on his way in. We waited a while for him, but we're losing light fast, so we've just kind of skirted up while we got daylight, looked, and at the place of the shot, into where he entered the woods, we don't see blood. Sometimes that happens. The shot's good, but it doesn't bleed right away. So this time of night, we're gonna meet Clay back on the trail, head out, just come back in the morning. If just don't want to push that deer any further into the woods if we don't need to. So come back in the morning. It's supposed to be -2 tonight, so everything we find, the meat will be preserved. We'll get him in the morning. So back out for now. We're back in the same stand. I've never been so deflated in all my years of hunting as I am right now. 100% missed that buck. We watched the footage for hours last night and can actually see the vapor trail of the bullet going high over his back. I'm sick beyond belief. The only silver lining is I didn't hit that deer. And I'm not making excuses, but I've always tried to help fellow hunters out, and after 20 plus years of shooting a gun, a rule I never knew of and just learned last night as I got around some really amazing shooters and they asked me questions about what I did. I rested my gun barrel, the barrel, on the front ledge in front, not my stock. And the barrel needs to float, not be stuck on something. And I actually pulled down and leaned into it to get a secure shot, which would make it even worse. The reason the barrel floats from the stock is when the barrel whips after the bullet rifles through it, it needs that room to expand and whip. and I didn't give it that, which would explain me missing by probably up to 15, 16 inches high. There could have been some buck fever in there. I'm not making excuses, but I am passing that along as information to help anybody out there, because that mistake is going to haunt me for the rest of my life. That being said, hunters don't give up, and I'm right there back in the same spot, sitting here all day, hoping for another chance and the stars to line up for me. So we'll hang in here tight and see what happens.
Keith continued hunting 10 hours a day in Alberta, hoping for a second chance at the buck he missed the day before. Despite plenty of younger deer moving through his area, the giant buck never did reappear in the remaining 4 days of Keith's hunt, and ultimately ended up going home empty-handed.
Well, it's been almost a full year since our wonderful whitetail trip to Alberta last year with Clay and Crystal. And graciously, they're gonna have me back even after my massive mistake last year. And that mistake is fresh in my mind. I've learned my lesson, and I've even shared it with people across the country so that they don't make it again. I hope no one makes that mistake, because I learned the hard way. But that mega whitetail that walked in and out of my life is just as clear in my mind as it was 365 days ago. So gratefully I have the opportunity to return to Alberta, get in a stand that Clay set aside for me for 8 days that is in the vicinity of that whitetail, and he has every reason to believe that he's alive again. So I'm going to be hunting hard for him. That's the bittersweet part of this. My mind and my heart is attached to that deer. So although we're in a big deer woods with lots of other great bucks, for the first little bit of the trip, my heart's going to be set on trying to see if we can't get a look at that deer again, and then we'll see what happens after that. But it's one of those moments that I'm excited, and I'm also kind of nervous to go back and see what can happen. But we'll get in the truck, get on the plane, get to Alberta, and get hunting.
Keith eventually arrived in camp and met up with the Take-Em Outfitters crew before getting a few hours sleep ahead of his first morning back in the deer woods. With a fresh blanket of snow on the ground, Keith's hopes are high of encountering last year's buck that got away.
Well, folks, I can smile now. It's a year later, and we are back in the same big chunk of timber, hunting that same big buck, and that mistake has haunted me. But Clay's graciously brought me back, and we're hunting a piece of that woods a long ways away from where I missed, but where there's lots of traffic, and hopefully some big mature whitetails. So whether it's him or another big Alberta giant, we're looking forward to a great hunt here. There's deer. Straight left in the timber here, not 100 yards coming through the timber on a straight walk. It's a buck. He's on the move. Big 9-point. Giant brow tines. He is a big rack buck. I mean, that's a beautiful chocolate Alberta buck right there. that buck. What a deer. Kind of thing you just relish as a hunter to sit here and watch. What a moment. What a moment.
Back at camp that night, Keith's difficult decision to pass the dark 9 point was weighing on him heavily, and is one every big game hunter knows all too well. With the encounter happening within the first hour of the first day, and with high hopes of setting his eyes on the giant 11-pointer he missed last year, Keith felt he had to pass on the beautiful buck. With 7 days left in his Alberta whitetail hunt, Keith continued his quest for the one that got away.
There's a coyote.
Well, after 16 days over 2 falls and close to 170 hours in this exact stand, I did not get my deer in Alberta. So to say I'm disappointed would be an understatement, but to sit here and complain wouldn't be fair either. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be a hunter, and very grateful for the opportunity I've had to watch the Alberta timber come alive with deer and see one of the greatest whitetails that's ever walked, and see incredible amounts of deer day after day. I didn't succeed, the deer won, and that's part of the journey and part of the adventure for me, and that's part of being a hunter. So it makes me want to come back more than ever, and I hope I can do that again. But in the meantime, I pack up and head back home to Ontario. Well, I don't know if this footage will ever get easier for me to watch, but that being said, it was an incredible deer hunt. Last year and this year, we went back after that absolute mega buck and we didn't see him. We seen another amazing world-class deer that I chose to pass, and that's something I have to live with. But on morning one of the second trip, we were looking for one that I had my heart set on, and it didn't happen. But what I do know is there's a couple of amazing whitetails still roaming the woods out there at Take 'em Out footage with Clay and Crystal, and I'm grateful to them for having me and giving me the opportunity to even experience that. And as a hunter, that's all you can ask for is an opportunity, and I certainly had that. If you haven't had the chance to go to Alberta to chase these amazing whitetails, you have to do it. I'm your host, Keith Beasley from Canada in the Rough. Remember to enjoy the greatness of Canada and be proud of your hunting heritage.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to this channel.
And follow us on Facebook and Instagram for daily original content from our adventures across Canada.